There seems to be no end to the quackery about COVID-19. It's terrible. Now there's a post that is circulating on social media, and it talks about ethylene oxide, that this is the sterilant that is used on the swabs that are inserted into the nose when testing for COVID-19, and that ethylene oxide is a carcinogen and it presents a risk to the population. Well, it is true that those swabs are sterilized with ethylene oxide. It is also true that this is a known carcinogen. What is not true is that this presents a risk to the population. Ethylene oxide is a classic sterilizing agent that has long been used. About 50% of all medical equipment in hospitals is sterilized with ethylene oxide. Materials to be sterilized are placed into a chamber, the gas is introduced, and after a certain amount of time, the chamber is evacuated. The ethylene oxide is treated with heat, it's converted to carbon dioxide and water, which are innocuous, and then the chamber is aerated to drive off any residual amount of ethylene oxide. Now, it is true that some materials can absorb trace amounts of ethylene oxide. However, testing of nasal swabs shows no residue, which is understandable because ethylene oxide is highly volatile, and after a short period of time, it diffuses out of any material. Now, this is not to say that there are no concerns about ethylene oxide. It most assuredly is a carcinogen. The molecular structure of ethylene oxide can be represented like this. There's a three-membered ring involved. And three-membered rings like this are highly unstable, and they easily break apart, which means that they engage in chemical reactions, such as reaction with DNA. And reaction with DNA can be a problem. Of course, in the case of sterilization, this is exactly what we want. It destroys the genetic machinery of the microbe. Now, of course, it is possible that if humans are exposed to ethylene oxide on a continuous basis through inhalation, it can also affect DNA and potentially cause cancer. Now, there are many industries that use ethylene oxide. It's used in the production of antifreeze as the starting material. It is used to make detergents. It is used to make polyesters. So these industries have ensured that they use equipment that prevents any escape of ethylene oxide, which could be an occupational hazard. In the case of the swabs that are used to test for COVID-19, as I said, there's no residue whatsoever. So any kind of claim that we should be shying away from testing for COVID-19 using swabs that have been sterilized with ethylene oxide, that is absolute quackery. And that is our Cup of Joe for today.